Welcome back to Rich Words Music, where today we're looking at this. It's the Vintage ReIssued V65 in Tobacco Sunburst. Now, if you know your offset type guitars, if you're familiar with Jaguars and Jazzmasters, you'll know what the V65 is going for, but it's slightly different. It's a simplified, streamlined version of an offset guitar, if you will. It's affordable too. Now, this guitar, of course, also has Wilkinson hardware and pickups in it, so it should be very good value for money. And that's what we're going to try and find out in this video. Is it worth your money or is it not? By the end of this video, we should have answered that question. But what I'm going to do today first is tell you about the specifications and features of the guitar. Then we'll play it in as many different musical styles and genres as we possibly can. And at the end, I'll go into a bit more depth with my opinions about the instrument, how it feels to play, what I think about the sounds, and whether or not I think it's going to be worth your money at the end of the day. So stick around for that. First up then, those specifications and features. So the V65 is part of Vintage's ReIssued series of guitars, and that means that they're pristine condition. They also have an Icon series where you can also get a V65, and those are beaten up and road-worn sort of instruments. Now, this guitar currently costs 439 Great British pounds. If you look at the Vintage website, it's about 420 euros in my part of the world if you buy it from a store, so very much on the affordable end of things. And this is Tobacco Sunburst, but you can also get the ReIssued V65 in blonde. And if you wanted to get this guitar with a vibrato bridge, that version is available. It's called the V65V, and you can get that in black or vintage white. The Icon version, which is the road-worn distressed version, is £30, dollars or euros more expensive, and you can get that in a distressed Tobacco Sunburst or in distressed black. Okay, then onto those specs and features, and what do you get for your money with this guitar? Well, underneath the Tobacco Sunburst finish, we have an alder body, and on the top here we have an off-white scratch plate, which goes very well with the color in my opinion. Very classic, very elegant looking. We have two Wilkinson single coil P90 soapbar style pickups with a three-way selector switch, a master volume and a master tone control, and here we have a hardtail Wilkinson bridge. If I flip the body over to the back there, you can see that we've got a nice cutaway, string-through body, and a bolt-on neck. And if we move up to that neck, you can see that we've got 22 frets here. They're medium jumbo, and the fingerboard on the 2022 model of this guitar is rosewood. Now, the fingerboard radius is 10 inches, so really, really good for chordal playing and also for solos as well. We have a 43mm Graph Tech NuBone nut, and the neck itself is maple with a vintage tinted poly sort of a finish. Now, the neck itself has a really nice profile to it. It's C-shaped, a soft C as Vintage would call it. It's not too slim, not too chunky either. It's medium tending towards slightly chunky, so it's a vintage feeling neck, at least to me. Moving up to the headstock there, you'll all recognize that vintage headstock by now, and if I flip it over, we've got 6 in-line Wilkinson Deluxe tuners. So that is the Vintage ReIssued V65, but how does it sound? That's what we're going to find out now, and I'm going to play the guitar in as many different styles and genres as we can. My rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amp. We'll start on the amp's clean channel and play some folk and some pop and some country stuff. Then we'll kick in my Fender Treverb pedal for a bit of extra reverb and a dollop of tremolo occasionally. After that, we'll use my Greer Lightspeed organic overdrive to play some indie rock, where I think this guitar is going to be very much at home, and some classic rock. And then we'll go to the amp's lead channel and play some hard rock and some punk rock and some alternative rock as well. And at the very end, I'll tune the V65 down to drop D. We'll go back to the amp's clean channel and I'll kick in my Rev G3 distortion pedal, and we'll see if we can make this guitar do a little bit of metal and even a little bit of chug. Enough talk then. This is the Vintage ReIssued V65. Let's play it now and we'll speak in more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the Vintage ReIssued V65, and I hope you enjoyed the playing and the tones. And for me personally, I've been on a bit of an offset guitar journey recently. I've had a Harley Benton MS-60 for quite a while now, video on that up there if you want to see that, but I never really got into those types of guitars more until I started watching a YouTube channel by a UK-based YouTuber called Bloxy, who's a faceless chap who tends to play different indie kind of guitar riffs, and he has one of these Vintage V65s. He actually has the vibrato version in vintage white without the arm in, so there you go. He loves that guitar. I think he plays it on a lot of his videos and very much inspired me to want to try this guitar. So what I'm going to do now then is give you a bit more information about what I think about the V65 in a bit more detail. So this guitar was sent to me by the lovely and very generous people over at Music Vine, which is the distribution partner for vintage guitars here in Germany. They sent me this guitar to make the video, so thanks to Frank and the rest of the team for sorting that out. And when the guitar showed up, I was very excited to unpack it and see what I was going to be getting. And I got a great impression straight away out of the box because this is a really nice Tobacco Sunburst finish. It's a very elegant looking and feeling guitar. And on picking it up out of the box, it was in tune straight away, so they'd obviously tuned it up for me, which was a very nice touch. Everything felt great from the off, so that was really nice to feel as well. And the weight of the guitar was decent too. Now it's an alder body and a maple neck here, and the guitar weighs 3.3 kilograms, which is 7 pounds 5 for you people on American measurements. So a really nice weight, and it balances really well as well. And the next thing that I wanted to do was get the guitar plugged in, give it a play, and see how it felt, played and sounded, and that's exactly what I did. Now when it comes to the build quality and the feel of this guitar, again, for the money that you pay, for £440 or 420 or so euros or similar amounts in dollars, this guitar is very, very nice indeed. It felt great straight out of the box. Now it's got hardware on it that does a job, so you've got Wilkinson Deluxe tuners and the Graph Tech NuBone nut, and they help to keep the guitar in tune very, very well throughout the duration of the time that I've had the guitar. Now the guitar had been set up very well as well, straight from the factory or straight from Music Vine. Great intonation, nice low action, no problems whatsoever at all with that aspect of the guitar. When it came to the Wilkinson hardware on the body as well, the volume and tone knobs and the switches and the pickups, there were no problems whatsoever, no crackles, no pops, everything working exactly as it should, and that bodes really well for the playing part. And in terms of playability, this is a really nice guitar to play as well. I really happen to like this neck profile. It feels like a nice chunk in the hand, not too little, not too much, just right. Now the one thing I would of course prefer for me personally is to have a satin neck rather than a poly-finished neck, but that's a personal choice. The finish on the guitar and the finish on the neck as well have been very well applied, so no problems there either. And when it comes to playing offset guitars, I find them very comfortable. Now again, these bodies are just slightly smaller than the body of a Jaguar or a Jazzmaster from Fender, so if that's going to be something important to you, try them both out and see which one works best for you. But in terms of comfort and playability, I found this guitar very decent indeed. And now we come to that other crucial part of whether a guitar is any good or not, and that is the sounds. How good does the V65 sound? Well, you've heard all of the clips that I played for you back in the playing part, so let me know down there in the comments what you thought of the guitar, but I enjoyed these Wilkinson soapbar P90s immensely. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I'm a big fan of P90s, and these do the job. They're a very classic, very vintage sounding set of P90s, not as fat as some of the others that I've heard, but I liked them for practically everything that I played them with for the duration of this video. So we started with the cleaner stuff, and these are really nice. Top end sparkle, a bit of a honk as well as you would expect from P90 pickups. Not a whole lot of low end, but that works for me. Great for strumming, great for country, great for folk, great for pretty much everything that I would do on the clean channel of an amp. Now at some points I did find that the bridge pickup was a little bit too harsh in the top end. You can wind the tone knob down and that solves that problem instantly, or use both pickups together. For me personally, I think that's probably my favorite way to use this guitar in a clean style. It just sounds fantastic. And the same applied for when we added the extra reverb and tremolo with the Fender Treverb pedal. Really nice ambient noodling sounds that you could spend hours just playing and getting inspired with. And when we kicked in the Greer Lightspeed overdrive, I think we were on the other set of home turf for this guitar. Indie rock and roll just worked absolutely fantastically. I love playing bar chords with this guitar. I love playing indie type riffs. They're bitey and aggressive and just work really, really well. And I think that P90s are very much at home for that kind of music. I do definitely think that I prefer the bridge pickup for playing that kind of stuff. It was a little bit harsh when using the two pickups together or the neck pickup, but fantastic indie rock and roll tones all round. Now, I had the Greer Lightspeed on for the classic rock stuff as well, but I turned on the boost control on the clean channel of the amp just to get a bit more mid-range aggression and oomph, and that actually worked pretty well. For getting AC/DC sort of tones, we were fairly close. For getting classic 70s rock and roll tones, it worked as well, and this guitar really sounds snarly and perfect for that kind of music. And I was also surprised when we kicked in the lead channel of the amp and did the harder rock stuff that the P90s really thickened up quite a bit, and they worked really well for kind of hair, classic glam metal, that kind of stuff. If you want to pigeonhole it into genres, it just worked well for that kind of music. For pop punk and punk rock as well, I really think it's got that nice immediate response, it's got that aggression and that sort of raucous rock and roll nature that works really well for that kind of stuff. Now at the very end, when we turned on the Rev G3, you could sort of sense that we were at the end of the natural lifespan for these pickups. They can do metal, you know, they're tight enough to do that, and they have enough chug to be able to do that if that's what you want to do. But if you're primarily going to be playing metal, I don't think you're going to be picking a guitar with soapbar style P90s, but you might. Let me know in the comments if that's your cup of tea. But for me, you can do metal with this guitar, but you don't absolutely need to if you don't have to. In terms of sounds overall then, this is a very versatile instrument, and if you're looking for one offset does all, then this might well be worth looking at for you. However, if you've been watching this video and you really want to get some offset goodness into your life, but want to know what else is out there, well happily, there are a number of options for you. I would definitely recommend that if you want an offset and you want a vibrato, that you check out the Vintage V65V, which is the brother to this guitar and has the vibrato system. I'd really quite like to try one of those out for myself actually. I've never used vibratos much, but I've sort of caught the offset bug, and that's something I definitely need to do at some point in future. But yeah, you've got the V65Vs, and if you want a distressed road-worn version, you've got the Icon version as well. Now otherwise, you're probably going to want to go to Squier first. These guitars are priced similarly to the Squier Classic Vibe range, which has a number of Jazzmaster and Jaguar models with different pickups, different switching options, different necks, different varieties of finishes, lots of different options in the Squier range, so check those out too. Now if you wanted to save a bit of money and get a more affordable offset, there are some decent Harley Benton options. I've done videos of the recent JA60cc, which which is fantastic, and you can see up there I've videoed the MS-60 as well, which is more like a Mustang, and they do build a few other offset style guitars, so check those out as well. Those are probably about half the price of the vintage guitars, but for the price you pay for those are fantastic instruments as well. Now, if you want to go full Fender, if you've got 700 or 800 euros, dollars or pounds burning a hole in your back pocket, you can go up to the most affordable player models of Jaguars or Jazzmasters for around 700 or 800. And again, there are many different options and styles, so go down to the local Fender dealer of yours and take a check through all of them and see what works best for you. And so overall then, I have to say that I'm extremely impressed with the Vintage V65. It's a really simple and straightforward way to get into the world of offset guitars if that's a step that you're looking to take. I love the fact that there is an option without the vibrato system, although I would personally like to try one with a vibrato system out soon. But this guitar feels really good to play. It feels like a genuine, decent guitar for the money. You've got decent hardware, you've got the Graph Tech nut, the Wilkinson tuners and pickups. Those pickups sound fantastic for way more styles of music than I think many people would give an offset guitar credit for. I love the snarl of a P90, and this guitar delivers in spades. If you're a fan of the Bloxy channel like I am as well, you'll be able to play any of those riffs to your heart's content on this guitar. It works perfectly for that kind of stuff. Like I said before though, there are a bunch of other options, so head down to your local music store because that's always the best place to check out which guitar might work best for you. But from me, 2 thumbs up for the V65, and I'm going to finish this video as soon as I can and go off and play it a lot more. I hope that this video has answered all of the questions about this guitar that you might have, but if there's anything else that you want to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I'll answer you to the best of my ability. And if you're still around, it would make my day if you wanted to like the video or even subscribe to the Rich Words Music channel, because that really helps a lot. But that's been it for today then. I've been Rich for Rich Words Music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.